I was a contributing writer and a photographer for this entertainment magazine based in LA. It wasn't so much like a Vibe or a Double XL. It was geared toward people who work inside the music industry. So you're not going to find this magazine outside. This goes not to the bookstores or anything like that. This goes directly to the labels, directly to the radio stations, just the insiders in the know. And there were times when, I would write something good and I started to make a name for myself. And there were times where labels would actually ask the publisher if I could be the writer assigned to their story. And that was like super dope and super humbling. And one day I got this referral that really surprised me, and it scared the crap out of me, to be honest. And my publisher hits me up one day and says that there's a music instrument company that is looking for a photographer to shoot an ad for one of their products, and Lil Jon was the spokesperson, and their budget was $1,500. And she recommended me to this music company, and they were like, cool, Now, for anybody not familiar with Lil Jon, he's a rapper, songwriter, producer, actor, all that, from Atlanta. He's worked with everybody, and he essentially produced every single rap song heard throughout Earth throughout the 2000s, approximately. Nowadays, it's like he just comes out of nowhere every few years, produces one of the biggest records in the world, stars in a Super Bowl commercial, then he retreats back into his mansion. According to CelebrityWorth.net, Lil Jon is worth about $26.6 million, which is about $4.4 million a year, or $369 a month, $85 a week, about $12 a day, $500 an hour, $8.43 a minute, and 14 cents per second. So I come to sites like this from time to time to get inspired, just to keep going, to keep hustling. Not that I necessarily need the outside inspiration, because like life and my bills do that for me, so I'm always trying to get it. I also come here to cry. And this was awesome. Like this should be awesome. Like, why don't I feel awesome? The truth is, I was scared, straight up. The stage was too big for me. The lights were too bright. I'd never done a photo shoot with anyone famous before. Like, well, kind of, I've done a lot of like non-famous people and models and, upcoming people. I've done sports, a lot of red carpet stuff. When people win awards, like, you win a BET award, you go backstage, and I've shot, Beyonce, Rihanna, LeBron, Lupe Fiasco, Lil Wayne, Khaled, 3LW, or I don't know if they were the Cheetah Girls at this point. In hindsight, $1,500 isn't really a huge budget, but it would have been the biggest check that I would have ever gotten for one day's work. And I was afraid of disappointing them, So I respectfully turned it down, and there was so much that I didn't know about the technical elements of photography. I was self-taught, raw. In many ways, I still am. And, and I've been published a million times, and I've made great money from it, but I've always had that lack of confidence. And, I don't know much about light meters and bracketing and wireless flashes and locations. I just know what looks good, at least what looks good to me, and it's worked for me. However, I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't need to know all that camera nerd stuff, because I had camera nerd friends who I could have hired to help me. Folks who are world-class visual people who work on major projects, who I've collaborated with before many times, and who are not personal friends of mine. So why didn't I reach out to my people for help? Did I forget that they existed? Did I not want to share the money? Did I think I wouldn't be able to afford the help that I needed? Was I just a moron in that moment? Probably yes, to all of those maybe. And in a moment of panic, I completely forgot about my network, and I didn't even bother to ask them where to begin. I just blanked, and I just froze. I was young, I was dumb. Again, mostly I lacked confidence, and that's really what it was. And then the thing is, I saw the ad in the magazine a couple of months later, and it broke my heart, and I felt so ashamed of myself. And I won't say that the ad was bad, but I will say that I could have come up with something a lot better, including the concepts. I mean, everything, the photo, the ad copy. And, some people say they have no regrets in life. I regret that. I gave away $1,500. I regret it. But that is the one and only regret I have in life, approximately. I had to take that chance. I had to do it afraid. It makes you think of job postings where like you get really excited when you see the headline, and then when you read the details, you start to see some of the things they want you to do, and you're just like, I'm not awesome at that, I'm not awesome at that, I'm not awesome at that. And you talk yourself out of applying. Now, question, have you ever missed out on an opportunity due to fear? Don't be scared now. Drop a comment below. Let us know.